Hello and welcome again. Today I want to talk to you about this rifle right here. This is a Traditions 50 caliber, what they call it, sold as their Pennsylvania rifle. As you can see, it's got a 40¼ inch barrel on it. I like the longer barrel. I've seen these before. I've never owned a Traditions gun before. I picked this one up last year. A friend of mine was selling off some stuff. Said he hadn't been reenacting in a while, and he sent me pictures of the stuff he wanted, told me the price he wanted, and it was a pretty good deal. A little on the expensive side, but a couple weeks later he's like, sent me a picture of this and said, hey, I found this in the closet, and add another $200 to it, he said, and you can have it. Now, what he didn't tell me was when I brought it home and I went to put it on half cock and it wouldn't catch, all the way back to full, still wouldn't catch. So I took the lock off. The sear spring was inverted and was kind of crushed, so I took it apart. I ended up having to spread it back open to get enough spring tension for it to operate, function like it should. Put it back in, so eventually that spring's probably got a crack or something. It will probably end up failing. But for a $200 gun, what can you say? Anyway, it looks pretty good. A few dings and dents. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on the details with it because, you know, there was a time when you could go to almost any sporting goods store and buy a Traditions 50 caliber. The lock is the same one that CVA used on their guns. It's supplied by Spain. I've got a CVA gun that my dad built it as a percussion, and then I was able to buy a damaged gun that the stock was broken on. So we pulled the stock off the percussion gun and put the barrel and lock from the Flintlock one, and my son actually carried around when he was 14 and started doing militia stuff with us. That's the gun he used, and it was very accurate. And that's what I can say about this. A couple of weeks ago when I was at William Harris Homestead, I fired a blank through this just because I hadn't even fired it yet. I've had the gun for right at about a year now, and it's been, like I said, once I fixed the issue with it, 2 or 3 weeks after I got it, I fixed the issue. Everything seemed to function good, and I just set it back here in the rack and just never really thought about taking it out and using it. So when I was getting ready to go down to William Harris Homestead, I'm thinking, I'm going to take this down there and at least fire a blank through it. And it functioned perfectly. I didn't have, all the powder I had was in cartridges for the musket, so I didn't want to shoot a 100-grain cartridge through it. So William Young from Our Living History, he had a small cartridge of some homemade antique muzzleloading propellant, as another YouTuber likes to say, and it had about 40 or 50 grains, and I'm okay, I'll drop that in there. And it once I got it to fire, because I had a few clashes, but that was issues with, because it'd been sitting so long, when I cleaned it, the frizzen had a little bit of oil, got that off, and once I got it to fire, it fired great. So I decided I would take it out to the range today and try it out, and I put 3 rounds through it before. Since it's a public range, I got there and there was nobody there, but once I fired 3 shots, and I figured, well, somebody's going to end up showing up because people were getting off work and stuff. And so as I was starting to pack up, a guy come in and he's got his 9mm or whatever going over and just, you know, and I didn't want to have a lot of excess noise in the video. So anyway, the gun shot exceedingly well. And like I said, I could go over the features, but like I said, you can look this up online. It's just a Traditions 50 caliber. It's got the brass inlays. This was more their high dollar unit, and I actually looked up the price they're going for now, and you can't even get the 40¼ inch barrel, but the 33½ inch barrel is going for $999. There is one little damaged piece here. There's a piece of wood that's chipped out of the patch box plate here, but does it hurt the functioning? Also, this one actually, I don't know if somebody refinished it or what, it's got a lot more figure than most of the Traditions, and looks like they went back and did another kind of stain or oiled it, but it's got some really dark grain in the wood, but I mean, it looks good. And I'm going to set it down here because I want to talk about how this thing shot today. Now, first of all, once I got to the range and I pulled out all my shooting stuff, I realized I forgot to bring a powder measure. And I was planning on working up a load for this, but I didn't have my adjustable powder measure. So I got in my box that I keep my cartridge papers and stuff for doing cartridge making displays at events, and pulled this cap off of here. So I was guessing that this cap will hold about 25 to 30 grains of powder. Now looking, it may hold a little bit more than that. But anyway, my first shot, I put 2 of these caps full of 3F black powder in with a 490 round ball. And I brought the target home with me. So my first shot hit right here. That was a pretty good shot. Yeah. That was a pretty good shot. Yeah. And it kicked a little bit. I thought, man, that's pretty good. Maybe I need to drop the powder down a little bit. So I guessed with this and didn't fill it up all the way, maybe about 3/4 twice, and put that in. And I was thinking that was probably about 40 to 50 grains of powder. And I was aiming low. I was aiming about right here. Well, the ball hit right there, and I had a brick and a rock in here to keep the wind from blowing this over. And you can see when the ball hit the stuff in there, it just, I mean, it blew out the front and the side from the shrapnel. The box went rolling. You'll see it in the clip I'll add. And then my third shot, I went back to filling both of these full, and still was aiming a little bit low, but I was off a little bit right there. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. But all in all, the thing shot very well, and you know, I'm going to say this, and I was shooting at about roughly 15 yards because I can't see that far anymore without my glasses. But anyway, like I said, this thing shot much better than I thought. Now I need to clean it because it is dirty. Oh, another thing, this one also has the double set triggers, which made this thing just sweet, easy to keep on aim. I always, for target shooting, I prefer to have a double set trigger system. And this one is, I didn't change anything. I didn't try to adjust the settings or anything. It shot pretty good. It does have a an adjustment screw it's actually under the back bow of the trigger guard, and I'd have to take the trigger guard off to be able to get in there and adjust. But I like it where it's set. It's set pretty good. And I was a little bit worried because these front sights, I mean the rear sight, front sight's fine, and it's a little taller than I like, but this rear sight is also high. I don't know how period correct this sight is, but it's got a screw here, and then it's got one here to raise the elevation up and down, and you can loosen this one and move it side to side for windage, and it's loose enough I can actually move it. So when I was cleaning it the other day, I noticed it was cocked pretty far over, so I just eyeballed it into the center and went with it. And the notch is a little more open than what I like, so when I put the front bead in it, there was still some, you could still play with the windage by just tipping the gun one way or the other a little bit. And this is one that I think, if I would take it to the range and practice with it, that it would be a spot-on tack driver. It shoots pretty good. I don't do a lot of live round shooting, but if I was going to take it to the range, I mean, honestly, if I was going to go to a shooting competition, I'd use my 54 caliber Jaeger because I've been shooting it for years and I know where it's going to hit. I know what loading, but I need to take this one to the range with a proper adjustable powder measure and work up the optimal load for this. But all in all, I'm happy with it. You know, I've had several people say, "Oh, do you want to sell it since you got it?" Something like, no, I'm thinking about getting an RPL, the Davis RPL replacement lock, just because it's a better quality lock. I've never really been happy with these, but I have to say, with this one and the other one that I have, I've never had any issues with them not firing. They've always fired good, and this one, like I said, it was more an issue of not being clean. It's got a good sharp flint. And the other thing, and I noticed when I popped open the patch box, it's full of flints. I didn't realize that until just the other day when I was cleaning it up, and I popped it open just to see what was in there, and I'm like, darn, there's like, I think 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8 flints in there. But anyway, I hope you appreciate this look at this little gun. It's like I said, for most reenactors, this is like an entry-level gun. A lot of people will get these when they first start out reenacting because they can't afford a custom-made gun. But even these are starting to get up to the price of custom-made guns. And it's one I picked up used. I'm going to hang on to it. It'll probably get loaned out as a loaner gun for different things, or depending on what side I'm at, whether I'll carry it or not, because I do have custom-made nice rifles and Fowlers and stuff. But for a good, just all around, just for getting out and shooting, like if I was gonna go deer hunting, I would use this gun to deer hunt with. It's plenty powerful and accurate enough that I would take it deer hunting. Not that I do any deer hunting, but, and I would be more than likely to take my 54 caliber, but it is what it is. Anyway, I appreciate you watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you.